Well, what's going on?
Tonight, in fact, toxic smoke from the Canadian wildfires now threatening the health of some 80 million Americans. This image right here, the New York City skyline, this was earlier today, obscured by the haze. And we're told that haze could be even worse come tomorrow. Here's ABC's Trevor Ault tonight.
Tonight, wildfire smoke seeping across the border from Canada, threatening the health of 80 million Americans.
To the haze, that's coming downstream. The thickest haze and smoke is actually during the evening hours, so the air quality is only going down.
More than 400 active wildfires are burning across Canada, half of them still out of control. The giant plumes of smoke rendering New York City's skyline practically invisible. Further north in Syracuse and Rochester, New York, the air quality is even worse.
It smelled like, our neighbors might be having a campfire, and it's just sort of an eerie feeling.
Medical professionals warning the poor air quality is already impacting people.
The immediate health risks are worsening of asthma and worsening of allergy symptoms. It can happen immediately in exposure to this type of air quality.
Can you recall a situation like this in the Northeast or in this area?
This is actually probably the worst I've seen the numbers.
The haze stretching all the way to the Midwest in Ohio and south to the Carolinas. And in some areas, it's forecast to be even worse tomorrow.
And David, experts say this air quality is most dangerous for pregnant, elderly, or very young people. They do recommend staying indoors if you're vulnerable. And conditions are getting even worse. David, in just the last hour, we've watched Lower Manhattan and One World Trade Center disappear completely into the smoke. David?
Yeah, it's really something. We could smell it coming in through the system right here in the studio, and we wondered if it was the wildfires. And sure enough, with that picture, that's definitely what it is. Trevor, thank you. And again, we'll be watching this over the next couple of days. Thanks, Trevor.
There have been 2,214 wildfires nationally so far this year, and approximately 3.3 million hectares have been burned. And across the country, there are currently 413 wildfires burning, and 249 of those fires are deemed out of control. There are also 18 active wildfires specifically impacting First Nations, with 6 in Alberta, 5 in Saskatchewan, 1 in the Northwest Territories, 4 in Quebec, and 2 in Nova Scotia. And as of yesterday, an estimated 26,000 people remain evacuated from their homes across the country. I will acknowledge that the images that we have seen so far this season are some of the most severe ever witnessed in Canada. And the current forecast for the next few months indicates the potential for continued higher than normal fire activity. Releasing the information that we're providing today will allow people and governments to prepare. And because they know that when they are prepared, we can reduce the risk that these events pose. And it enables us to position the resources and the supports the Canadians may need and be ready to mobilize them if a situation requires it. The Government Operations Centre supports the planning work and provides stable, around-the-clock coordination of the federal response to all emergencies. They constantly monitor evolving risks and liaise with the provincial and territorial officials to ensure a swift, smooth, and coordinated approach to provide any federal aid a province or territory may require, including by reaching across the entire federal system to activate different supports that any jurisdiction may need. And through the exceptional work of the Government Operations Centre, we have been able to respond quickly to requests for federal assistance from both Nova Scotia and from Quebec. And this, of course, is in addition to the request that we approved from the province of Alberta last month, and it has led to the mobilization of Canadian Armed Forces personnel and assets in both provinces, with further supports being provided by other federal departments and agencies. And for example, in Alberta, there are roughly 150 soldiers currently deployed in support of firefighting tasks in the Fox Creek region and in Fort Chipewyan. In Quebec, there are now 150 soldiers deployed to the Sept-Îles region. And in Nova Scotia, we have provided ignition specialist personnel and equipment to support their efforts and an immediate response.